Hello, my fellow viewers. Welcome to Mr. Wanyoike, the digital learning platform. In front of you is Mr. Wanyoike himself, ready to present unto you a biology topic that is genetic, and the subtype topic that I'm going to cover today is the sickle cell anemia. And as far as sickle cell anemia, I would like to give you the genesis of what are the content of the red blood cell. And as far as the red blood cell is concerned, it contains a protein which is called hemoglobin. And hemoglobin, for the normal individual, the normal hemoglobin is normally denoted by this symbol, that is HB, and we have an A. And therefore, that is the normal shape. That is the shape for the normal hemoglobin. And the hemoglobin that normally leads to sickle cell anemia is called defective hemoglobin. And the defective hemoglobin is normally denoted. This is a normal. The first one is normal. Normal hemoglobin. And the second one, we have HbS. And as far as HbS is concerned, that is abnormal or defective. We can talk of defective hemoglobin. Defective hemoglobin, which is a genetic disorder. And therefore, as far as the hemoglobin are concerned, the normal hemoglobin are normally combined with oxygen to form an unstable compound called oxyhemoglobin, which normally dissociate when the red blood cell reaches on the tissue, and therefore it dissociates to release the oxygen, so that the oxygen release can affect the process of the respiration that is in the tissue. And moreover, the red blood cell will pack or carbon dioxide will dissolve into the red blood cell, and therefore there is another enzyme inside the red blood cell which convert it. It is called carbon anhydrase. That enzyme convert the carbon dioxide into weak carbonic acid, and therefore it enhances the red blood cell, enhances the transport of oxygen and also carbon dioxide in human or in the body of living organism. Having said that, I'm going to give you more information as far as the sickle cell anemic condition is concerned. As far as the sickle cell condition is concerned, one of the amino acid, actually, the normal hemoglobin is normally made up of two polypeptide chain, and therefore normal hemoglobin, that is HbA, is normally made up of two polypeptide chains. And as far as the two polypeptide chains are concerned, that is as far as this one is concerned, it is found in the normal human being. The normal human being who do not have this disorder. What about in albinism, in sickle cell anemic person? In sickle cell anemic person, the hemoglobin which is found there is high. It is defective, and therefore in sickle cell condition, one of the amino acid which is normally found in the polypeptide chain, that is one of the amino acid by the name glutamic acid, is normally replaced by another amino acid called valine. And therefore, you can see that one of the amino acid, which is by the name glutamic acid, is normally replaced by another amino acid called valine. And in so doing, it will lead to the formation of a defective it will lead to a formation of a defective hemoglobin, and that is represented by HbS. And therefore, as far as the glutamic acid in the normal polypeptide chain of a normal individual is replaced by the valine, which is amino acid, it will lead to the formation of a defective hemoglobin, and this is what we refer to as defective hemoglobin. Defective hemoglobin. One challenge with the defective hemoglobin, it means that it does not have a higher capacity for oxygen loading, and therefore they are sickle cell shaped, and therefore they normally clog inside the blood capillaries, and therefore interfering with the flow of blood. And therefore individuals who have this kind of defective hemoglobin, that is HbS, they cannot work under strenuous, they cannot be subjected to areas with limited supply of oxygen, or they cannot be subjected to strenuous exercise which require a lot of oxygen. Why? Because they have defective hemoglobins which have a lesser capacity for loading of oxygen. And as far as the defective hemoglobin occurs in homozygous codation, for example, an individual having this codation, that is HbS and HbS, this individual is referred to as be suffering from sickle cell anemia, and therefore the individual with sickle cell anemia will have this condition and anemia. And what about if the individual is having this genotype? This is HbA and also HbS. Those individuals are referred to possess sickle cell anemic trait. Sickle cell anemic trait. And therefore sickle cell anemic trait is less dangerous compared to the anemia sickle cell anemia condition. And therefore these people who have the heterozygous condition, as far as the HbA and HbS is concerned, it is said they are less serious. It is a less serious condition, since half of the number of the red blood cell have a sickle cell shape, while the other half have normal shape. And therefore the number with the number of the red blood cell which have the normal shape have the capacity of loading maximum oxygen, and therefore they are less affected as opposed to those individuals who have the defective gene, the defective hemoglobin in homozygous condition. And therefore you can be given a question to work with, and the question that you are going to be given here, you will be asked, determine an example. You are told determine the genotypic of F1 generation of a couple where man is and a woman, and a woman are both carriers for sickle cell anemic trait. And therefore, what are you supposed to do? The solution, you can come up with, as far as the solution is concerned, you can come up with a Punnett square. And the Punnett square will help you in analyzing the question so that you can get the results. And therefore, in our Punnett square, you are going to draw a Punnett square here. And bearing in mind, both of the parents are in heterozygous cordation. They are carriers, both of them are carriers, and therefore we have a male and we have a female. And as far as the male is concerned, that is HBA and HBS. That is a carrier. The female, the same case, HBA, and also we have HBS, that is defective. And therefore HBA for the first case, HBA will combine with HBA. What about for the second one? HBA goes, this is from the female, and from the male we have HBS. What about from the female? From the male we have HBA, and from the female we have HBS. And what about from the female and the male? And therefore they will each donate HBS and the other one HBS. And therefore, as far as this is concerned, we'll be having the results as follows. That is the first F1 generation, the first child will be in homozygous condition as far as the normal gene, as far as the normal hemoglobin, I mean, is concerned. And what about the second child? The second child will be having a sickle cell anemic trait, that is, will be HBA and HBS. The same case applies to the third child. What about the possibility of the fourth child? The fourth child will be definitely sickle cell anemic. And as far as the genotypic is concerned, the genotypic peak ratio is concerned, you will write you can see that there is a genotypic ratio will be given. We can write them here. That is there is one HBA, and also that is the first child. That is the genotype of the first child, and the second and the third, they are carriers, and therefore you write one HBA and also HBS. That is the allelic. The allelic gene will be like that, and HBS, and finally we'll be having two of them. Actually, the carriers are two, and therefore you will be writing 2 HBA, HBS, and finally you will have 1 HBS, HBS. And therefore that will be the third one. And the HBS, this refers to the genotype of sickle cell anemic child. And having said that, I'm going to illustrate you very well so that you can be able to see them clearly. You can see that as far as that question is concerned, the question is determine the genotypic of F1 generation of the couple where a man and a woman are both carriers for the sickle cell trait. And therefore, after coming up with that genetic Punnett, that is Punnett square, we have arrived to the genotypic ratio being 1 HBA, and the ratio of the carriers, they are supposed to be 2 carriers. You can see here we have this carrier and this one, and also this one, and therefore they are supposed to be 2. What about the sickle cell anemic child? It is only 1, and therefore you will have the ratio as 1:2, S:1, as 1:2, Having said that, I have come to the end of today's lesson. Your presenter was none other than Mr. Wanyoike himself, and you may get me in the YouTube by searching me using the name Mr. Wanyoike. Till next lesson, bye.